I wasn't going to make a video until tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Wednesday. But I don't like having all the books that I have recently uh, found at thrift stores up here in my study. I like to take them downstairs and where my library is. So I decided that tonight what I would do is make a video of the books, the used books I found at thrift stores um, the last week. And I also want to mention that I'm still reading the Recognitions by William Gaddis. I'm now on page 583. I'm still reading it. I don't read it 24 hours a day, but I read it pretty regularly. But going back to the books that I got the last week, I found this book called Paris Without End, The True Story of Hemingway's First Wife by Goya del Berto. I collect books on Hemingway, literary studies, biographies, letters, biographies of his wife, anything about Hemingway. I haven't read Hemingway, but I collect them. I also found this book called The Philosophical Breakfast Club. It's the story of a vivid portrait of Charles Babbage, John Herschel, Williams Whewell, Richard Jones, four men who transformed science and helped create the modern world. I got that book this week. I also found this book used, Clover Adams, A Guilty and Heartbreaking Life by Natalie Dykstra. Glover Adams was the wife of Henry Adams, who wrote the book The Education of Henry Adams, a very famous book, American book. She was his wife and she committed suicide, and it's a very sad, tragic story, but this is a biography on her. And then I found Lawrence in Arabia, War, Deceit, Imperial Folly, and the Making of the Modern Middle East by Scott Anderson. This is on the Lawrence, the movie Lawrence of Arabia. Well, this is about that person, the Lawrence of Arabia, and it looked pretty interesting. I found this by this guy. He's it's like, I don't know, China Midval, The Iron Council. It's a novel. I collect his writings. I read one of his novels a year ago and really liked it. I found this week. I collect biographies, and this is called The Chief, The Life of William Randolph Hearst by David Nashaw. I like biographies because you get a story about their life, but it goes into history, American history, and William Randolph Hearst was a very famous. We know about his publishing newspapers in Hollywood, and he collected art and all those kind of things. This is a novel called Strange Angels, a novel by Jonas Agee. This is a story that takes place in the West. It was a New York Times notable book. It looked interesting. This is Gunter Grass, The Tin Drum, a very famous book. I thought I had this in my library in my Gunter Grass collection, but I didn't, and I found this. I found it for $1. And I found this volume of short stories by Richard Bushed. I collect his writings. This is short stories. This is I think he's this guy, either he's British, I think he's British, Rodney Dowell, star called Henry, a novel. I collect his writings. And I found this, it's called Jay by Howard Jacobson. He's a British writer. I have another book by him in my library that was a winner of the 2010 Man Booker Prize, the Finker Question. I found this week. It's called Jay by this guy. And I found a novel by Caleb Carl called Killing Time. I have these novels by him that is very famous for this. The Alienist by Caleb Carr. And he also wrote The Angel of Darkness. And then I have this one, I think it's a fantasy, The Legend of Broken by Caleb Carr. So I found these this week in thrift stores. And so that's what I found this week. And I'm still reading, like I said, I'm still reading the recognitions. You notice it says on the recognitions, introduction by William H. Gass. I have in my library, here in my study, I have on MP3s The Tunnel, which is a novel by William H. Gass. I have the novel downstairs. I don't have it here in my main study. But I listened to this last year. And and he's reading it, the writer. William S. Gass is reading this novel, The Tunnel. It's I really enjoyed reading it. So, and he writes an introduction to this. So that's what I've been collecting. And besides that, I don't really know what else to mention. You know, I mentioned in my last video that here in my study that I have these Christian books, but I also have in my study a lot of books by my Kerouac collection is mainly downstairs, down in the basement, but I collect Kerouac. And most of my Kerouac collection is down in the lower level. But I have some here, like a biography of Kerouac by Joyce Johnson. I have the Dharma Bums, the 50th anniversary edition. I have On the Road, a 50th edition by Jack Kerouac. This is On the Road, the original scroll edition. Another Dharma Bums by Kerouac. I really like this cover. And then I have these books, Wake Up, A Life of Buddha by Jack Kerouac, Big Sur by Jack Kerouac, The Hippos Were Boiled in the Tank by Jack Kerouac and William Burroughs. So what else I have by Kerouac here? Oh, I have The Vanity of Duelits by him, Kerouac, and another Dharma Bums by Kerouac. I also have CD On the Road being read by a guy named Tom Parker. This is being read On the Road by Jack Kerouac by Matt Dillon. And then I have also on CD The Dharma Bums being read. So this is some of my Kerouac collection that I have here in my main study. And you'll notice that in my study I have a poster of Kerouac, also with a post of James Joyce. That is Kerouac. So I just want to share these things. And one thing about Kerouac that I bring up is that you got to be real. This is not being edited. This is just me sharing what I read and what I have in my study here and what I collect in the books. So till the next time, bye.